Hey, it's Wednesday, so we know what that means. It is Straight Talk. It's almost noon, so we're going to wait and see who joins us today. Hope everybody's having a great day. It was supposed to be thunderstormy here in Racine, but it's actually sunny and pretty beautiful, so hope everybody's enjoying the weather. So it's really interesting. I don't know how many of you got to see the video that I did yesterday. I was having a crappy day. I didn't want to do any of the stuff I was supposed to do. I've gotten so much response from that. It's so interesting. I've had a bunch of people say, well, you know, if you need a break, sometimes you just need to have a break. Maybe that's what you need to do. Or, oh, I have that same kind of thing. I don't want to do anything, and it's so hard to make myself. How do I make myself? So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And I just wanted to clarify, it's not just, oh, I need a break one day. I've been working really hard and I'm worn out and I need a break. What I'm talking about is all of us as human beings are wired in particular ways. And the way that I am wired up is my kind of constant conversation, that little kind of negative voice that sits on my shoulder that naysays me, that says, oh, you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, you don't want to. I call that my I don't want to. Like that, I have an I don't want to conversation. You could come over and I'll give you a good example. Ann Gibson is on, my good friend Ann Gibson's on right now. We went out with a bunch of friends last night. I didn't want to do that. It's not because Ann isn't spectacular, because she is. It is because I have an already always way of being. It's automatic, and that is I don't want to. Whether you ask me to come pick you up at the airport, or I have a meeting with a client, or I'm going out with friends, or I'm going to a concert, there is a moment where I just don't want to. And I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, and I literally have to stop myself and choose something different so I don't let that already conversation use me. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about a consistent way of being that you have in your life that keeps you from getting your goals. And it might just even keep you from having enjoyment in life, because if you ask me to do something, for instance, my husband and I are going to another concert on Friday, which I'm really excited about. It's two bands that lots of people haven't heard of, the Violent Femmes and Echo and the Bunnymen, and we're going to see this concert, and it's going to be fantastic. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be better than the last concert that we just saw, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because I love these two bands so much. But I am already thinking, well, it's going to be rainy, and the weather's not going to be great, and maybe there's so much else we could be doing. I have this sort of way of being that only happens in my head most of the time, and it's what I would call that little naysayer on your shoulder. We all have that little voice in our head. It's that little voice you just heard when I stopped for a second. That little voice. We all have a little voice in our head. Sometimes it's our friend. It's encouraging, and it's like, oh, you can do it. But 99.9% of the time, that little voice is telling you something that you don't need to hear. It is giving you some sort of negativity, telling you again why you can't, why you shouldn't, why you don't want to get your goals. And the problem isn't that we have that little voice in our heads. It's that we actually think that it's real and it's true and that its advice is valuable. If we never listened to that little voice, we would have so much joy and so much success in our lives. So one of the things that, a couple of the quotes that I saw this week that I really wanted to share with you is, number one is, make sure that your worst enemy is not living between your own two ears. And I think that for a lot of us, we know the things that we want in our lives, and we know the things that we need to do to get those things, but we don't always do them. And that's because it's so much easier to curl up in a fetal position and watch your favorite show on TV, or not take the risk and don't go hang out with people that you don't know and connect and network and build your business, or don't take the risk and put yourself out and try new things that you may fail at, because it's just more comfortable. And that little voice is constantly in our head telling us, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, you don't want to do this. And so what happens is we get sucked into that little voice. And what happens is we end up getting enrolled into something other than what we're actually committed to in the bigger picture. So you need to make sure that you realize that it's not what you say out of your mouth that really determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the most power. And so this week, one of the things that I'm going to do is add a worksheet at the bottom. I figured out how to do that now, so I can do it. I'm going to add a little handout, a little PDF about noticing where is that naysayer on your shoulder stopping you from doing things. Maybe you're moving out of state and that you're doing all these things and you're accomplishing great things and you're getting ready and you've achieved all this stuff and you're getting ready to move to this dream place you've always wanted to live, and you have anxiety about it and you're nervous about it. That's that naysayer I'm talking about. Maybe you are on a goal to lose weight or be more healthy, like my husband and I, and he called me earlier and said, oh my gosh, they're having this barbecue at work and there's all these sweets, and I just, I'm just trying to rationalize why I should just eat what I want to today for lunch and then I can just regroup tomorrow. But the thing is that there's always going to be strawberry pie. This is not the last strawberry pie in the world. So there's no reason to have a piece and act like you're in survival about it. But that little voice in your head is trying to rationalize why you should keep doing the things that have gotten you fat, or gotten you lazy, or gotten you stuck in a job you're not happy in, or gotten you in a relationship that doesn't work. If you don't stop that little voice and do something different than is comfortable, you are never going to have a different result. So my invitation to you this week is to kick that naysayer to the curb. But first, in order to do that, you have to notice and identify where that little voice is active. So you have to listen to it, you need to distinguish it, and you need to notice what triggers it. So for instance, for my husband, the thing that triggers him is sweets. He has a huge sugar addiction. And so every time he's around sweets or there's a party, that little voice is going to get triggered and it's going to start justifying why he should eat. And we're going to talk about, one of the things I talked about yesterday a little bit is how do you create a mantra? And a mantra, sometimes, mantras get a bad rap because people say mantra and they're like, oh, that's so cheesy, or that's so, such a, foo-foo thing. It really isn't. Mantras are powerful tools. My mantra for the last 16 months has been, I can do hard things. Because I don't want to is a cover-up and a justification for, I think I'm going to fail, I'm not sure I'm strong enough, I'm not disciplined, it's just too hard. And so that whole conversation about, oh, I don't want to, is because everything is so hard. And the more weight I've lost, the easier things have gotten. But the second day I was on my diet, I didn't think I could do it. And I just decided I can do hard things. And I've been telling myself that every single time that little voice comes up and says, no one's around. You can have a slice of pizza. No one's going to know if you had a shake. Then what you have to do is say, no, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. And use that mantra or whatever the mantra is for you to defeat that naysayer. So step one this week, the challenge is download the PDF that as soon as I upload this video, I'm going to put that PDF in the comments section. Download that PDF and take a look at it. And remember, it's not what you say out of your mouth that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the most power. So this week, we're going to distinguish those things, and you're going to start to see, use the exact language. Like for me, it's I don't want to. That is like the 3-year-old inside my head throwing a tantrum. How do you language it? What is the conversation that you're having in your head with yourself that defeats you or gets you stuck? And write it out. And notice what things trigger you. And once you do that, next week, we're going to talk about how do you create a mantra? How do you create something that will bridge you from where you are now to doing the things that you want to be? Because here's the thing about that little voice, is if it says its thing and says, okay, and it's saying, you don't want to do this. Don't do this. This is too hard. You shouldn't do it. If that only affects me for 3 seconds, then that's great. The problem is when I surrender to it and it rules me for 2 or 3 weeks, or even 2 or 3 days, or even 2 or 3 hours, and I make choices that are inconsistent with what I'm actually committed to. So your job isn't to quell the voice, because anytime it's silent, that voice, and even when it's not silent, that voice is going to be in your head all the time. As human beings, we're wired up to have that little voice. And you know, when dinosaurs were chasing us, that was a valid voice, because we needed to be safe and we needed it, but we're not being chased by dinosaurs. We're not in survival right now. We don't need to have something on our shoulder telling us over and over, there's danger, Will Robinson, step back, be afraid. We don't need that anymore. What most of us need is encouragement to be brave. So, first step, distinguish your little voice this week. Next week, we're going to talk about how to step over it and get your goals. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Make it great. I am so excited that so many of you have joined me today. And again, watch for that PDF. I'm going to upload it as soon as I get this video live. Have a great day.